Hello, welcome to the Black Salt Mirror. We are here today to talk about shadow work. There are 4 suits in the tarot and the majors, and they all, like the suits of a playing deck, start at an ace, go up to a 10, and then have court cards. And you have to work on all of them at once. The tarot symbolizes the things that you have to work on in your life to grow, to heal, to meet the lessons head on that you've agreed to come into this life to work on. And the thing about shadow work is you kind of do it by jumping around. So you'll work on something over here, maybe it's like a sword suit kind of a theme, and you'll get like from maybe the ace to the 3, and then you feel like you're doing really well. But because things in life try to be even, maybe then you'll jump over to like the cup suit and work on a cups theme. And when this happens, when the shift happens, particularly when you get to the end of a suit and unlock a new level, because life is a lot like a video game, it can feel like regression. And the reason for that is because since you have shifted to another project, it feels like you didn't make progress because you were doing so well. Once you get to the end of something, you're super proficient in it, and you're like, I got this, I've healed this, it's amazing. And then you switch over to something else. They're like, okay, well, why don't you heal this now? Why don't you work on this now? And it's like back to square one, and you're like, this sucks. I thought I was doing so well, and now I'm back where I started, and I'm broken again, and I'm traumatized again, and I'm triggered again. And it's not because you just didn't make any progress. It's because you finished up with what you were doing well, and you've now been moved on to something else. So it's always going to feel, particularly when you're deep in shadow work, like it's just endless and nothing goes right. And everything just keeps taking you back to where you were. And why try? Because you're just gonna end up right back here. Except that's not what's happening. I pulled an interesting spread while I was talking here. This is the 9 of Air, and she's in a bottle. She's heartbroken, it's labeled. She looks like she's crying, and she's all bandaged up. However, the 9 is the self-completion of the suit, and the 10 is the full completion. The holistic completion. On this little egg here, which I think she's sitting on, it has the symbols for Mars and Gemini. And this is a very heady combination. There's a lot of passion towards intellectual pursuits, towards communication. And there is a necessary give and take when you're healing and when you're working on things in your life between rest and effort. Because once you start to feel like it's too much, you have to stop and you have to rest. And you have to take care of yourself. And you have to look back on the progress that you've made, because that is what will make you feel successful and allow you to continue working. Because if you feel that you've accomplished something, then you will desire to continue accomplishing things. If you feel like you've gotten nowhere, you're not going to want to keep going, because why? It's getting you nowhere. And it's important to mourn the things that you've lost. She's missing a foot here, it looks like, and she's got that little stump and something furry above it. It's really important to be your own best friend, to be there for yourself, to mourn your losses, to take care of yourself, to sleep well, to do things that you enjoy. In contrast, we have have someone in the quartz, the Knight of Earth, a very happy looking person carrying a treasure chest. The symbol on the back of that is Virgo and Earth. This is a very grounded person. And it's interesting because you could see in the air and the clouds another chest. And the air suit was what we just moved from, the 9 of air. But she's not worried about that. She's not even looking at it. She's looking at the thing that she has in front of her right now and deriving joy from what she has right now in front of her. And that's where the passion is. And importantly, it's what this key will unlock. If you're using a key that you have, a skill set that you have to try to fix a problem that you're not yet equipped to deal with, you will not be successful and you will not feel the joy of that accomplishment. She has other keys here that will go to other chests, and part of the point of doing all these different types of little bits of healing is that they then teach you how to do other types of healing. Above her is the 6 of Fire in reverse. So it's not a leisurely thing. And the contrast of being grounded, you can see he's standing on the prow of a ship in the air, it looks like, and just kind of flying through it. It's important to stay grounded, and it's important not to get too carried away with fantasy. What do we have here? The Moon in reverse and the Queen of Water in reverse. There's the Moon. There's an important lesson here about accepting what you can't see, the benefits that you can't see. The little figure in the front has an egg that they've taken from this bassinet over here. And there's a snake looking into the bassinet that would have probably eaten this egg if it had still been there. But because it's not there, the egg survives. However, this little person carrying the egg doesn't know that because they're turned the other way. They know that they've taken the egg and they've moved forward. And a lot of intuition is trusting in the feelings that you have and going forward with them, even when you don't understand what tragedy you're preventing or what it's getting you or what secret workaround it's taking you on, because all you can see is where you are. You can't see what you're avoiding. You can't see what's in front of you. You can't see what's on the other paths you're taking. But you must always trust that if you are working and healing and trying, that the choices that you make are helping, even if you can't see how they're helping. The Queen of Water here, she's sitting at a table with her cat drinking tea, and she's looking at a book that has flowers growing out of it, and it's in reverse. So the shadow side of this is that you don't tell yourself stories. She's got the symbol of Cancer on her heart here. Self-love and self-care. Oh, she's also got flowers growing out of her head. It's about delusions in this context. Because it's in reverse, it's warning, and below the moon, it's warning about telling yourself stories that you are succeeding at things that are not aligned to you. A lot of people will do that. They'll want something and they'll know it's not aligned for them, but they'll just lie to themselves and say that it is, or that their effort is paying off when it's not, because it's what they want to be true. And working through that is a huge bit of healing, being able to identify what is in front of you and what's for you, even when that's not the most attractive thing to you at the time. And last, we have the other bookend on the Seven of Earth. This one is also in reverse. There's a girl standing in the doorway, and there's a bunch of boxes. That bunny appears to be hidden behind a tree where the light's showing. Inner child work is extremely important in any healing. And there will be things that you remember from your childhood that you gave up, things that you haven't thought about for a long time, dreams that you had, and whimsy comes through very strongly. There's another tree with the same kind of looking flowers from the last card here. So this is a place where you can tell stories because they're from your childhood, and you can tell stories to your child inside of you, your inner child. And there's always a time and a place for storytelling, and there's a time and a place for whimsy, and you have to find that time and embrace it as it comes when you need it. Because if you spend your whole life pushing off and pushing off and pushing off to accomplish something, you're going to spend your whole life denying yourself, running yourself ragged, and you're not going to feel accomplished at the end of it either. You're going to feel like this. Just defeated, bottled up, broken, and like you got nowhere. As you come through this integration, you come out. Bottom of the deck is the Eight of Water in reverse. There's always a key. When you wake up from your delusions and you strike out, it's always hardest when you first started and when you're doing it. Until you've gotten over that major first hurdle, it's always going to feel like it's a huge amount of work for nothing. Most people that do it just have the drive innately to do that as part of their nature. And it's in that way, it's easier that they don't question themselves, but it's really, I'm like that, it's really hard to do the work. And so it's a trade-off, which kind of character, the one that's more laid back and easygoing, but then it has to put in a lot of more motivation to do some work versus the one that has to do all the work because that's all there is. But it's always hard, and it's always worth it at the end. And it is the greatest expression of self-love that you can have, to go through the process and heal and be the most authentic, happy, whimsical, introspected, eyes wide open version of yourself that you can be, that trusts that all the decisions that you make when you're following your guiding light are getting you somewhere good, and at least building a foundation within you when that right moment comes, when that train comes for you, you can get on it. I love you, I'm proud of you, and I will see you next time.